By the end of this video, you will easily be able to do long division. Long division is a concept many students struggle with, so I recommend that you follow along with the examples. Let's start off with this example, 320 divided by 6. Now in this example, the number to the left, 320, is known as the dividend, and the number 6 is known as the divisor. Now make sure that you properly know these terms, dividend and divisor, as many students tend to get these two terms mixed up. Now let's actually do the division. Here is the long division symbol, and inside of it we place the 320, the number on the left, the dividend, and outside of it we place the 6, the divisor. Now we are ready to divide. First, start by looking at the first digit of the dividend, the 3. We simply check if 3 is bigger than 6, the divisor. So in this example, 3 is smaller than 6. So in this case, what we do is that we look at two digits because 3 is smaller than 6. So we are left with 32. Now 32 is bigger than 6, so we can divide it. Now we have to find a number to multiply to 6 to get a number that is close to 32 but not greater than 32. So we go through the 6 times table. So 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, and then 6 times 3 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24, 6 times 5 is 30, and 30 is the closest we can get to 32, because if we did 6 times 6, we would go above 32, we would have 36. So in this case, 5 is a number that can get us as close to 32 as possible. So now we write 5 above the second digit. Now we simply do 5 times 6, which is 30, and place it under the 32. From here we subtract 32 by 30, and this gives us 2. Now after this we take the 0 and we bring it down beside the 2, making 20. Now similar to before, we find a number that when multiplied to 6 is close to 20 but doesn't go over 20. So we can go over our 6 times table again. And when we go over it, we can see that 6 times 3 gives us 18, which is as close as you can get to 20 without going over it. Now we can subtract these two numbers, and this gives us 2. Now as you can see, there are no more digits past 0, it's empty. So this means that 2 is our remainder, and we simply leave it as R2, remainder 2. And this gives us the answer of 53, remainder 2. And the answer is also called the quotient. So from this we get 32 divided by 6 equals 53, remainder 2. And this is telling us that 6 can divide into 32 53 times, and it will leave 2. It will have a remainder of 2. And in this example, our dividend is 320, our divisor is 6, and our quotient, which is our answer, is 53, remainder 2. Now let's take a look at another example, 216 divided by 2. Now here is our long division symbol. Now recall, inside of it, we put our dividend, 216, the number on the left, and outside we put our divisor, 2, which is our second number. Now we simply look at the first digit of our dividend, the 2. Now is 2 greater than 2? Well, in this case, 2 equals 2, so we do not have to move over to the next digit. So we simply find a number that can get us as close as possible to 2, and that number is 1, because 2 times 1 is equal to 2, which is exactly 2. So we simply subtract this, so 2 subtracted by 2, and this gives us 0. Now we bring down the 1, which gives us 1. Now as we can see, 1 is less than 2, which means the number that is closest to 1 is going to be 0. Because if we did 2 times 0, we get 0. Now let's say we did something like 2 times 1. We would get 2 and we would go above 1. So in this case, because 1 is less than 2, we put in a 0. Now we get the second number because we weren't able to divide into 1, and we bring down the 6, which gives us 16. Now again, we find a number that can get us as close as possible to 16 without going over. So in this example, that number is 8. 8 times 2 gives us 16. Now from here, we simply subtract them, and we're left with a remainder of 0, which means we have no remainder at all. So whenever our remainder is 0, you do not need to write r. We can just leave it as whatever answer we get. So in this example, our answer is 108. So this gives us 216 divided by 2 equals 108, where 216 is our dividend, 2 is our divisor, and 108 is our quotient. That concludes this video. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below and they will be answered as soon as possible.